Go live. Go live. It's News with Shoy. It's February 21st, 2025. The moment you've all been waiting for. This was a day that everybody was waiting for. Everyone always said, man, February 21st, 2025. I wonder what I'm going to be doing then. Oh, man. If you did. Well, as the week approaches, I'm an options trader, so I'm always considering the end of every week. Also, project manager, so always looking at schedules. So usually, I know the end of every week. But February 21st, 2025. Oof. I wonder how much I'll weigh that day. Maybe you put a target on that day by February 21st. You lost 50 pounds. Congratulations. All right, let's get to the news because the markets were rocking. So what we're going to do is diagnose
Former
this.
FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb joins us now. It's good to see you, and I'm glad you came on with us because I'm trying to cut through this report and find out what's legit and what might not be. What's your take on what you've read? Yeah, I'm not too concerned based on this single report. They sample viruses from bats constantly over there, and they find novel viruses from time to time. And sometimes these novel viruses that they stumble upon harbor very concerning features. So this is not an uncommon finding. We find these things pretty routinely. I don't think we've ever identified a pre-spillover virus that went on to cause an epidemic. So I think the link to an imminent risk here is pretty flimsy, quite frankly. Probably the most concerning part of this story is that they did this.
They're talking about the flu right now, but the main story here is that the Dow dropped 700 points. Now, some people don't really look at the Dow, but the S&P was down big time. So the Dow lost 750, which is 1.79%, 1.7%. Anything over 1%, in my opinion, is a very large move. The S&P slid down 1.71%. So that means that's how much you lost if you were fully invested in the S&P. I lost a ton today, and it sucked. So I'm really interested in this. So apparently, a University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index, everybody watches this for how consumers are feeling in the market. It's called the Consumer Confidence Survey. And it fell to 64.7 in February. It was a decline of nearly 10% and a steeper drop than expected as consumers raised concerns about higher inflation ahead of new possible tariffs. They're always going to say something like this. I mean, one thing that I learned early on in the stock market is I used to say something like, write your own narrative. Like you could literally write anything about the stock market and say, this is why it went down. It could be tariffs. It could be our debt deficit. It could be more war. It could be anything. It could be inflation. It could be unemployment. It could be whatever. You could write anything. You could speak about it in micro terms, macro terms. You can definitely defend a position as to why the market went down or went up for that matter. But I do know we're in a very volatile period. And actually, one of the best quotes that came from Warren Buffett was, I don't get in the business of predicting the markets. And it sounds cliche from a lot of people now. A lot of people have overused it, but he's famous for saying that. Well, he's famous for having a lot of money, but he's definitely famous for saying that as well because he was rich and had a lot of money. Anyway, life's not about money. What is it about? I don't know. I'm in this rat race. I'm trying to figure it out. And you know what? We forget we're in the rat race unless we think, holy, I'm in a rat race. Then you're like, oh shit, like, I got to think about this. But I don't like thinking that I'm a rat. I saw a video the other day about the rat race, and it was a freaking cartoon rat running through life with all the other rats. I was like, this shit is crazy. I don't want to think of myself as a rat. I already hate myself. I don't need to also think of myself as a freaking little shitty rat. Little dirty ass rat running down the street. Isn't it enough that I'm in the rat race, that I have to experience this pain, this plight? I feel like it's something extremely special that, although it is such a deep, dark, twisted pain that we have to endure of going through life and it always being the focus of work, a 9 to 5. And this is the cadence that you must live in. Monday through Friday, gone, doing a job that you don't like. That twisted mentality, that's a terrible mentality. And I'm a slave to it like anyone else. I have a 9 to 5, yada, yada. But I don't want to think of myself as some little stupid rat, some little dirty little furry rat running in the street. And you know what? I actually like seeing rats. I'm going to tell you why. I'm from New York. I live in New York. I'm in New York now. And when you see a nice little grizzly little rat going across it gets a little close. It keeps you on your toes. It tells you, yo, wake up. Come to your senses. I like seeing I don't want to see rats. But when you see one, you stay on edge. You got to watch yourself. You got to be like, hey. It's the Shoy Show. Who cares? Do you like live news? I like live news. Live news is amazing. Let's hear some more of this. On top of that, existing home sales in the U.S. fell more than expected last month to 4.08 million units. Whatever. Walmart shares fell 2.5% yesterday. That was the big one. And they also said that they had a lot of it's kind of weird because I heard one thing where they made a comment in the conference call about apparel being good. And I believe the numbers were good. So trends in apparel. So people are spending on apparel, but have low consumer confidence. Oil is up now. It's not at all-time highs, but oil's back up around $80 a barrel. It's hovering, give or take $10. But to me, oil, the barometer is really over 100. That's when it really starts heating up. And then anything else is, to me, normal. Even $30 is normal in this world right now. Anyway, people are saying that Trump definitely, they call it Trumponomics. They call it a lot of things. Him just being president has definitely helped the market. For sure. For sure. Everything from everything that he says and how he steers the country to how he speaks. His bravado, everything about it. He's definitely had an impact. But at the end of the day, people are still going to gauge risk at all different levels. So they're either going to say it's a very risky market where they want to sit out, or they want to play high risk. And that's the epitome of gambling. This is still somewhat gambling. The stock market is definitely gambling. But where are you? First of all, what's your risk appetite? But let's just throw it out there. If you have a risk appetite, I used to have that risk appetite. I'll risk it all, which is not wise at all. There's unequivocally and objectively, that is not wise to risk all of your money. But I've done that plenty of times. I'm doing it now, actually. Suffice to say, I don't take my own advice because I'm crazy. So yeah, when the stock market drops like this, it's what is going on over here? Nvidia's back to not doing nothing this year, but they're still really close to all-time highs. They're sitting around 130. I was waiting on that. They went up to as high as 155, something like that, a few weeks ago, and then they tapered off. But I think they opened the year at 140, so they're not up much compared to everything else. I mean, if you were up 1% right now in February, that's a very good return. If you got 12%, 10% in a year, that's an excellent return. And Trump also made a comment about slashing defense spending. So I actually work for a contract, and I work for I work some government contracts, and one of them is in the government. So, well, I work. One of them is in defense. So, yeah, I know that people are on edge about like losing their jobs, of course. But I mean, it is what it is. What are you gonna do? Be on an edge? If you lose your job, what's the worst thing that will happen to you if you lost your job? Really, nothing. Nothing. You'll always figure it out. It's scary by design in this world. It's scary that you lose your job. Maybe that's why these unemployment reports and these inflation reports that scare you in the market, maybe that's what keeps us on edge. I'm sure it does. It's certainly going to keep you on edge as well. And maybe that's by design. The media is a very interesting place because it's always going to tell you what to concentrate on just by someone saying it. Someone said it, it's truth. I only go as far as to read the daily news of the stock market, and then from there, look at a couple economic reports, read a couple stock reports. Arguably, what do? I think I have a feeling and a tempo for the market. I was waiting for this. I was waiting for a precipitous drop. That happened a couple of times already. But I feel it. I kind of feel it because that's the rhythm of the market. You kind of dance with the market. I like to say that if you have a pulse in the market, like if you can feel the market, then you're trading. You're investing, you're trading. You kind of know how to do it, like how to feel it. Because there's technical analysis where you're looking at the charts. You're really studying the charts, really trying to understand trends and believing the numbers behind them. And then there's fundamental analysis, policy, war, geopolitical stuff, and anything you can think of. That's not quantitative, that you can't peg a number to. So it's the same thing here. Write your own narrative. I mean, you say this, I believe it. You say that, I believe it. You're the only other opinion that's being validated in the world. All right, I'm getting too deep. Well, this sucked, the stock market dropping. Let's listen to some more.
Experimentation in a low security BSL-2 lab. And this was the Wuhan Institute of Virology. This is the same institute in Wuhan that has been implicated in a potential lab leak related to SARS-CoV-2. So to see them still experimenting with novel viruses in a BSL-2 lab, that's not too reassuring. But from this particular strain that they found, I don't have any concerns that this is going to cause an imminent risk unless they have a laboratory accident. And one would hope that since they published these findings, they're now taking precautions to treat this strain with great caution. You know, it is interesting, if nothing else, some of the movement in stocks related to this report. I mean, the market itself seemed to take a bit of a leg down as this started circulating. Some of the vaccine stocks like Pfizer and Moderna shot higher, though they are off their highest levels too. Some of the airline stocks and cruise lines were lower as well. But if nothing else, it does just remind us that these sorts of stories are still out there. The concerns exist, and how ready we are to deal with the next pandemic, whenever it is and whatever form it shows up in, I think remains a question for the market. Well, setting aside the policy framework right now in the United States, I think from a scientific standpoint, we'd be pretty able to prepare countermeasures against this. Vaccines and monoclonal antibody drugs. This virus that they sampled, they did experimentation in human cells, human organoids, and found that it bound to the same receptor that SARS-CoV-2 binds to. So presumably you'd be able to develop a vaccine against it. So I think from a...
Yeah, so we're coming up on a big technical indicator here that the S&P 500 is moving down to the 50-day moving average. Let's go to that. Come on with these paywalls. Okay, there's the 50-day moving average, that black line. So that's the 50-day, and then we're currently right at it. Yeah. So if it breaks this, but you got to look at the 100-day moving average as well. You really want to plot the 50, the 100. I'm sure you could add others as well. Yeah. See, I could pull this up on my phone really easily. Let me just do that because I pay attention. I pay attention to technical analysis. You should do technicals and fundamentals. So here's the S&P 500. All right. Here's the S&P 500. Now, hopefully you guys can see that. I mean, it's not the best chart. I'll show you vertically. So let's zoom in too. Because this is the 20-year day. So you see how this is going up? That green line underneath is the 50-day moving average. If it breaks, then people will usually sell. Not usually, it's just a strategy. It's an important support line for people to start buying again. And then you got the blue one, that's 100 days. And then you got the red one, that's 200 days. And if it were to break 200, it's like, whoa, the trend is going that way in which it broke. So like during recessions, you'll see that usually the 200-day will break, which means, hey, we're in a lot of trouble. And you could see those periods of time, like here. What year was this? This is 2023. We had a dip there. If you see that, if you don't see it, no, you guys could see that. Kind of, sort of. I try. You get me? Is my hair good? I mean, I try. We're 17 minutes into the broadcast. I try. Who cares though? Right? Like, are you supposed to look your best or just show up? I don't know. You're supposed to do what you want. It's your life. Let's jump to the news. It's news time. The good, bad, and puzzling. Everyone is talking about the cuts to the federal government. It's a great topic. I mean, on one hand, you believe what politicians say, whether you like it or not, because whatever they say is the truth. It's the truth. And you want to believe that you can believe your politicians. This is why I tell everyone that they should read the book 1984. If you did not read the book 1984, 1984, if you did not read that book, you go read that book. That is one of the best novels ever written. A lot of people say so. It is an amazing book. George Orwell. It doesn't matter. That is an amazing book. Everybody should read that in their lives because that book is going to show you pure dystopia. It's essentially, it is arguably a carbon copy of our time. And I say time with as much emphasis as I possibly can. With our time, with our mold. "1984 is downright scary. You have to read that book. That book is amazing. Amazing. And when you think, if you believe that, like you're like, whoa, this sounds eerily similar to what's happening right now. Then you think life is like Mad Max. It's like, what the hell is going on over here? Yeah. We don't know what our governments, we believe our governments. They're saying they're doing all these federal cuts, they're saving billions of dollars. There's a website. Let's go to that website, the Doge website, in case you haven't seen it. Um, and they keep changing it up. Elon Musk knows how to get stuff done. And dogegov.com, in case you didn't see the search, dogegov.com. Look, he created a cool website. I mean, look at Elon Musk. Look at this guy. Look at how he advertises it. He's the epitome of X in this picture. It's amazing. It's art. And then he put even the Doge coin over here. I mean, he's amazing. What he does, the fact that he does this is like on some Kanye level genius shit, right? Like out of this world. And then also just like a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible cool. And I don't even love Elon Musk like that. Like, like I admire the guy. I hope he does well, as I do any other human being. Right? I think he does good. But I'm not talking about any of that. I'm fascinated with Elon Musk. I'm not in awe or any. Maybe I'm in awe, but not really. I'm not gushing over him. But to think about what he's accomplished, just like Trump, and it's the way they go about it too. They let you know it in their own way, and they wield their influence, and it's very powerful. And that's why it's so compelling to watch. I mean, Biden was just as strong as any other president or as Trump, right? He had the same position, but the way Trump goes about it makes you even want to pay attention. And maybe that's because I'm a little bit older now, and that's why I want to pay attention to politics. But anyway, I find it interesting. Let's go to dogegov.com, community chat. I'll show you where this just took me to. Join group. This guy, I mean, he promotes transparency. Why not believe that he is transparent? Buy trade. Workforce costs. Yeah. Spend. So this is how many people work for the US government. I'm surprised that they could collect this number so easily, but I guess they would just go to each branch, each part of the government, and then ask them how many people you have. But you can't always believe headcount numbers. Subordinate offices, I guess they counted the leases, total wages. I like to dissect research reports because the research reports you have to take with a grain of salt, just like people's opinions. It's just a statement. It's just another statement. And everybody's backing themselves off of data. And to me, data is very fickle. So your data is as good as mine. Whatever you heard is as good as what I heard, because those are essentially offsets of one another. And the way in which we believe things in narratives. Anyway, I like to question research reports. Dig in just a little bit more. Total wages, $211.3 billion. I guess they're looking at salaries, right? Yeah, just wages, because that's not the total cost, because wages would not include things like utilities, all the overhead, like rent, property taxes, all of that. So this is just wages that we're spending, 211 billion. And I got to ask you, like, this begs the question. This is why, again, I like taking my time with research reports. For the little that you read, challenge the data, because what does 211.3 billion mean? And I'm not saying they're trying to trick us or hoodwink us, but what does 211 billion mean? That doesn't mean shit to anybody. How could that mean anything to you? 211 billion is like $20 to you or $1 to you. What the number is totally arbitrary. At what point do you stop or even start saying, "Oh wow, 211 billion"? What scale are you even looking at? If I told you it was 1 trillion, you'd be like, "Wow." What then would you say? So this number doesn't mean anything to anybody. The other thing that you have to look at is this number does not include overhead. All your fixed expenses, it doesn't include any of that. This is just wages. This is how much we're paying people, and that's against the head count. Because arguably, if you had buildings and you were firing people, then you could close the buildings as well. So you'd have to look at the overall cost. But they're just looking at head count. Cabinet level agencies. Wow, it's amazing that they have an inventory of all of this. I mean, how are they? Let me tell you something else. How are they even counting a department? I'm sure there are other adjacent departments, and they're probably calling them other things that have to do with this. What I'm saying is that the government could be far larger than they're even reporting, or far smaller, but it could be who knows? You got to challenge the data. That's why you got to take everything with a grain of salt. But you read it, as it comes. You have all these departments: Department of Agriculture, Department of Commerce, Department of Justice, Department of the Army, Department of the Interior. I'm trying to see if there's one that I haven't heard of. No, these are all the departments, the main ones. I'm sure there's sub-departments, People are always hiding stuff, not only in life, but definitely in government. Department of the Interior. The average employee has worked here 14 years. The average employee makes $130,000 a year. The average employee is 50 years old. Interesting statistics. Those are way more interesting than these numbers here. Like, what does 812 subordinate offices mean? But it's cool to see the number. I think it's a really cool website. Let's look at the savings over here. So let's balance the budget. Doge's total estimated savings are 55 billion, which is a combination of fraud detection, deletion, contract lease cancellations, contract lease renegotiations, asset sales, grant cancellations, workforce reductions, programmatic changes, and regulatory savings. Top 10 agencies. I'm going to make this bigger for y'all. USAID, that's crazy that was so far that's our contract savings. Okay. I thought that was the largest. Well, they did save the most money there, but I thought they were like spending the most or something. It's very interesting what he did. It's very interesting. Because look at the website, and that's what I'm saying when I say guys like Elon Musk, Donald Trump, like, it's not just them. You could be doing the best job in the world. If you're not showing it to anybody, if you're not showcasing it the right way, no one will ever know, no one will ever recognize it, and no one will ever appreciate it if you don't do it in the right way. Now, I'm not saying that you need to concern yourself with that, because that's like trying to say that you're going to please people all the time. And that doesn't make any sense. So, not so, but the way they do it, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, is they do it with a way in which it's certainly aggressive. It's assertive. Like, a lot of people hate Floyd Mayweather, or they hate on Floyd Mayweather, right? And I just got to pull up Floyd Mayweather because I used to hate the guy too. You know why? There would always be freaking reports about this guy and always saying he wasn't the best. And again, it's whatever people write. Whatever people write, whatever people say, that's what they're going to parrot. Life is too short. Most of our talk is small talk. What talk isn't small talk? We only have little talk with each other anyway. And for the little talk that people had, they hated on Floyd Mayweather. And I used to hate on the guy too. I used to root against him. I used to be like, fuck him. Why? Because I will read the articles and all that, and people undermining him, challenging his accomplishments, which it really doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense. The fact that he did what he did, hundreds of millions of dollars in fights. I'm not even like jumping on him or anything. It's truly impressive. I didn't know we were talking about Floyd Mayweather tonight. It's the Shoy show. You're like, yo, why are we talking about Floyd Mayweather? Maybe you like Floyd Mayweather. Maybe you don't. Now we're talking about him. So if you don't like it, I guess you could change the channel, go to another live, or don't go to watching static videos again. You're not always in the mood for live. You got to be in the mood. And that's why I didn't get married, because I can't always be in the mood. Because apparently she's always in the mood. I read articles. You remember? You read what you think what you read. You believe what you read, what you see, what you hear. And they tell me that women's libido gets larger. And men's, it has the propensity to get larger. A woman's libido can change throughout her life, and there is no one right age for sexual peak. Some studies suggest that women's libido is highest in their 30s and 40s. So they say, oh yeah, when you're over here, when men are shrinking, going down, we're not shrinking. But when we're losing our testosterone after 30, that's what men tell each other. Like, oh, here you go, over 30 years old. That's how I got introduced to my 30s. It's all downhill from here, with their hands on their hips. I'm like, shut the fuck up, bro. So this is what I got to deal with. That's why I can't be with a woman. She's always going to want to do it. And I'm going to be like, yo, I got to do the Shoy show. To touch me, play with me, touch me. I'm going to be like, yo, like, I got work to do. That's work. Yeah, it's work. I've been working all day long. I'm working 12 hours, and then I sit over here. And I want to do the Shoy show. I want to do the broadcast. And I have to do the broadcast because it is compulsory. Because that is my allegiance. Because I love this. So I can't keep having sex with you. How do you think she's going to look at me if my girlfriend, my wife, was sitting right there and looking at me doing the Shoy show? And it's whatever day in the future it is that we land on. It's that day. You're going to just pick a random day in the future. And we're going to say, what about that day? And she looks at me and she says, you're going to do the Shoy show and just leave me here to dry? You're just going to leave me here? You're going to pass this up for the Shoy show? But that's not the thing that she's registering, because she always wants to do it. She always wants to do it. And I don't have time to always be doing it. I can't be having sex all the time. I got things to do. I could barely read. Your libido. Anyway, is it libido or libido? Libido sounds like doing the limbo. How do you say it?
Libido. Libido.
Libido. It's not your libido. You know what? I can name my next milk company Libido. Why? It sounds like a overseas name of milk, Libido. Like if you saw a brand that said Libido, nice a white carton, white with blue. A white carton, milk blue. Right here like this, and then it said right here across the front of it, it said Libido. What do you think about that? Right there, Libido. If you bought that overseas, you say, yeah, I'm gonna buy that milk. That's the milk you have? You gotta buy your milk, right? Back to Floyd Mayweather. I actually don't drink milk anymore. I loved milk as a child, loved it. I don't drink milk because I don't want to do dairy anymore. I try to just stay away from milk, but we grew up on milk and cheese. Milk and cheese. Ay, that's the Shoy show right there. Milk and cheese, you son of a bitch. Milk and cheese. What do you think about that? Fun milk cheese. This is the right picture right here. Oh, shoot. Oh, man, that is. I used to eat vicariously through people. Years later, I found out that it made people uncomfortable. But I don't think I was looking at them when I was younger. I think I just got in my head. Because when I was younger, I used to just look at people eating and I would be like, I wouldn't eat because I would be dieting or something. And then I would say, hey, look at their food a little too hard. Well, when I was young, nothing. I would look off. I don't know how I would look. I can't remember that. But now that I'm older, I don't look at people when they eat anymore because I feel like everybody gets nervous. Like, not nervous, but people don't like being looked at when they eat. And I always did it as a kid to try to win some war on myself, to eat vicariously so I could stay thin. That was my objective in life. Staying thin, staying fit. So I would eat air and watch people eat. And I had to grow up and understand, yo, you can't do that anymore. What are you, a rapist? I'll be like, damn. No. I didn't rape anybody. I just want milk and cheese. What's wrong with you? Back to Floyd. So what do you do with Floyd Mayweather? Love him, hate him. Whatever it is, it's probably the last thing that you heard about him. If you heard something negative about him, you probably don't like him. And if you heard something positive about him, you probably don't like him. Either way. But it doesn't matter because he got $500 million. Now, in a life where you got to question things, and Floyd believes in God, I think. He definitely believes in God. I'm sure he always says that. I just can't remember. But whether he does it or doesn't, we don't know why we exist. But he has $500 million. So he says, or whatever. The guy's, I think, a billionaire. Who cares how much money you need anyway? But to hate on him, it's like disrespecting Michael Jordan. And that's just stupid. The guy is one of the greatest ever. And it is just, forget about it. Like, that's just something not even worth mentioning. The thing that he did with his life, how he did it. Forget about the opulence and all of that. I'm sure this guy is as rich as they come, but I'm sure this guy is as practical as they come as well. I'm sure he loves the simplicities of life just like we all do. But people don't give you the benefit of the doubt. But the way he manufactured, created his life, and steered it, how can you not only respect it, admire it, thank him for even showing us? I mean, it's truly greatness. But people got a problem with that. And the articles define the message. Who cares? Back to the Department of Government Efficiency. All right, so the CFTC, I used to read these reports. This will tell you how much we're trading on our commodities, everything from oranges to currencies. Okay, so I think this is a receipt. So these are the values of the contracts. Like, what does this mean to you? I'm not saying it's not valuable information, but you know what? Elon probably is getting a ton of information by looking into the whole process and auditing everything. And then he's like, you know what? Why am I not going to share this data? Like, why would you not share this data? A lot of people are saying that Elon Musk, President Trump are lying. They're saying that. Why would they lie? I mean, listen, nothing is going to be 100%. Everybody's always going to hide something, right? And to their benefit, right? They're also going to hide confidential information that they don't want out there. But most of the stuff, why wouldn't you be able to share it? It really doesn't mean anything to us anyway. I guarantee you, I actually guarantee you, in 50 years, no matter which way the world even turns, our budget will be higher for our government. And maybe not 50 years, maybe even 5 years. People have to get paid. And it all really just depends on who's governing. But this data, to have it out there, let's say it says that, how much does it say that we're currently spending? The total savings are 55 billion. Right now, I don't think that's prospectively. They've saved 55 billion. And they're saying that they're looking at revenue too. Agency spending, revenue sources, and the deficit. So 1.8 trillion is the deficit. It went up 8 trillion from 2019 to 2024. Now that sounds like a lot of money because now we talk about trillions, but one day billions was a lot of money. Now people look at billions. There's so many billionaires. Quadrillion is like 1 million. I don't even know how many a quadrillion is. That's one of the biggest numbers I know, quadrillion. Imagine we start saying this about somebody. Not in our lifetime. Let's take a look at quadrillion and then quintillion. So 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, 1 billion, 1 trillion, 1 quadrillion, 1 quintillion, 1 sextillion, 1 octillion, 1 monfillion, 1 dialinnion. I can't even read that one because it's so small. We'll never know. We'll never know which one this one is here. Decibillion. 33 zeros. Imagine one day we're aliens, there's flying cars everywhere, and somebody has that much money. What would that money even mean? I'm gonna ask you, what's the difference between 1 quintillion and the one that I can't read down here, destillion or whatever? Sounded like a Mortal Kombat fighter. Destillion. Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat. Look, this isn't in the news, but this is the the entertainment section of the news. Actually, the entire news broadcast is the entertainment section. Mortal Kombat, what? You little bitch. Look at that. Look at that mask. Look at that face. You little bitch. We don't need this stuff. This is cool, right? It's like more fantasy-ish. It looks really cool. I like it. But we need this, okay? This is what we need in Mortal Kombat. Okay? We need some. And if you didn't play Mortal Kombat as a child, I mean, that's life. Like, what the fuck, right? Like, I didn't play with Barbie dolls. I mean, sometimes I will pick one up and be like, marry me, Ken, right? Yeah, fuck yeah. Come on, what else are you gonna do with dolls? At some point, they gotta fuck, right? What is this? I was preparing myself in kindergarten. I would see two dolls, and I would be like, "What the?" I'll be like, listen. It's not like I pick up two dolls and I start making them have sex right away. No, they get to know each other. I was playing with them for like months, and then one day I woke up. I'm in the school, and we got toys. It was toy time, and one day I see the two dolls, and I'm like, yeah, you kind of like me? Yeah, I like you too. I didn't just start rubbing them together. You got to take me out first, right? Oh, yeah, I like you too, Ken. Oh, you like me, Barbie? Yeah, Ken. So then you take the two dolls, you put them together. And what do you get? You get a love match. And that's how I learned. That was one of my first lessons of being of like a relationship. When I put those two dolls together, I was like, wow, I was like, a relationship. Then my parents, my parents, Ken and Barbie dolls, that taught me about, while I was very young. How old was I in kindergarten? That's what would make me think about relationships and life and family. Oh, that's so great. All right, let's go to Mortal Kombat, because I'm done talking about dolls. You need I mean, this is the iconic image. Scorpion versus his brother Sub-Zero. And some people say they're not brothers, and some people know the truth, but I don't care. I can't recall whether they were brothers. You have Reptile as well. But I like not remembering if they're brothers or not, because it's more mystery for me. These were all the players here. Mortal Kombat. And now,
Ring, make it, ring, girl, make it.
Apartment 2B?
2B. She's dead.
we're gonna. No.
First learned about this 7 years ago on a mission in Brazil to capture a wanted fugitive. When we got there, it tore through our unit in seconds. The target had superhuman abilities. It had the same marking you do, Cole.
It's a birthmark.
What do you mean?
He was born with it.
It's not a birthmark, Cole. It means you've been chosen.
Throughout history, different cultures all over the world reference a great tournament of champions.
Yeah, we don't need none of that shit. Okay? You want to watch trailers, you don't come to the Shoy show. You come to the Shoy show and maybe we'll watch a trailer. Who knows? I might never put a trailer on again. But that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for this.
The new Best of James and Mike Mondays is out now on.
But then I saw this, and not only out of spikes
Was Todd, what are you talking about?
So I don't know if he was pulling my leg, but then I was like, well,
Fine.
no, it does not
It's
look
just like
good
looks
at all.
like little.
Identity as like a reptile, and he has a
We just needed game footage. That's all we needed. But this thing wanted to spoil the fun. Let's go back to the news. It's the Shoy Show. I forget sometimes. Too much Trump. I mean, you can't. It's not even that a day goes by. It's literally a minute goes by that there's not something that's coming out about the president. Mayor Eric Adams of New York City wins a partial reprieve. Governor Kathy Hochul said that she would not act to remove him from office for now, but would seek to limit his powers after accusations that he cut a deal with the Trump administration that led to the Justice Department dropping corruption charges against him. Some people say that first of all, he got caught with like misappropriating funds. So that was the case against him, and everybody wanted him to step down. And now I think the narrative is the Trump administration is now potentially working with him to push their immigration agenda in New York City. And we've seen a crazy cleanup here. Like, honestly, I saw videos on social media, but I live in a place where there were a lot of Mexicans, Ecuadorians, Colombians, Guatemalans, it's like mainly South America. And that's what our neighborhood is made up of. But there was a lot of maybe they were immigrants, maybe they weren't. They were street vendors, and they were operating without licenses. They're all gone. I run all the time. I'm out at night. They're all gone. It's interesting to see. I think they'll eventually come back, figure out ways to make their money, hopefully, but the enforcement is working. The enforcement is effective, is the point that I'm making. It has nothing to do with anything else. One's opinion doesn't matter. The enforcement has made a difference for sure. So they're saying that to allow Tom Homan and Eric Adams to allow them to come together, even though they actually, I don't believe they liked each other. Oh, no. They actually never had a problem with each other. It was something that someone said. But yeah, these two, now he's helping push his agenda because we have a lot of immigrants here. And cleaning up New York would make an intentional difference. Whoever is telling Trump on his team, because Trump is, what can he possibly, he can't think about everything. There is someone that's saying, if you want to convince America and the rest of the world that immigration has gone away, you clean up New York, you clean up Texas, you clean up California, like you enforce it enough that you remove immigrants, or you at least just are a large enough presence as a deterrent. If you are effective in New York City, you will get the message out that you were successful. For sure. For sure. So them two working together. So that's the story. Mortal Kombat. Can you believe we just saw a Mortal Kombat movie? I mean, let's get back to the news. Not a movie. We literally saw like 1 minute of a trailer. I would never play a movie here. Maybe we have movie night. Watch a movie together. Why not? You know what I want to watch? Collateral. Tom Cruise, Jamie Foxx. Such a good movie. A Japanese group is reportedly courting Tesla to invest in Nissan. Oh yeah, because Nissan is struggling. Yeah, Nissan wanted to merge with Honda, and those talks fell through. And Tesla is thought to covet Nissan's auto plants in the United States. I don't understand how people invest in Tesla, but that's just my opinion. Elizabeth Warren has now essentially been silenced. You don't hear a lot about her or from her. And I think she probably is happy about that. Maybe she's not. But they silenced her in the media. That's for sure. Yeah, this was a big conference that was happening this week. Man, everything's always happening in Miami with like these conferences. So many in Miami. I mean, there's a ton in New York, but there's a lot in Miami. Deal makers in Miami warmed to Trump and the Saudis. So the Saudis went down there, or one of the primary. There was a whole bunch of financiers. It's called the FII Priority Conference. Saudi hosts and business leaders to see and hear President Trump up close. And some people might look at that and say corrupt. Oh, look, he's talking to people about money and all that. Once upon a time, that would probably be considered corrupt. Nowadays, it's deal making. He makes deals. And anyone that wants, most of us know how to make a deal in our lives. We bargain for things. We know how to make a deal. If you're a smart business person, you don't have to be that savvy. You're going to try to cut a deal. He's the president. He's trying to cut a deal. Look at this. Look, who wrote this? Was this? Wow, this is the New York Times. I read the New York Times every day. The Good. As a salesman, Trump impressed deal makers with his oratory abilities, using his speech to rattle off the savings he said he found through Elon Musk's cost-cutting efforts. Impressed deal makers with this. The fact that they wrote that, I guess, I don't know. I don't know if they're insulting him or if they're applauding him. And to me, it sounds more insultative, if that's a word. It sounds more insulting. Insultative. Let's see if that's a word. Insulative? No, I didn't mean insulative. I guess it's insulting. Stupid stock market. Killing me. Serena Williams and Lance Armstrong were there. Wow. James Bond lives at Amazon. Oh, wow. Jeff Bezos and Amazon finally got the rights to make all of the James Bond films they want. Look at how amazing Daniel Craig looks there. That's not my favorite pick of him, but he's my favorite Bond. Love him. Look at him. He's the man. Let's go. And now, I'm my own producer and editor. I have to, what do you think we have to do? We have to pull up, and you have to see what I see. We have to pull up. That's the James Bond I like right there. There, right there. You see that? That's my guy right there. Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig. You get a piece of my February 21st, 2025, because I love you, Daniel Craig. Pierce Brosnan said something years ago, in case you didn't hear it. He said Daniel Craig is an insult as a James Bond. You remember Pierce Brosnan? I was like, shut the fuck up. James Bond is the shit. And I mean Daniel Craig, because he's the only James Bond. No, there are definitely good James Bonds. Men always argue about this. There are good James Bonds. Okay? Daniel Craig is my favorite. He's the coolest. He will put a bullet in your ass and go and complete the mission. I don't have the balls to shoot somebody. I have to do the Shoy show. You think I'm going to go shoot somebody? What do you think? I have time for that? Then I'm just going to come home and casually do the Shoy show? No, I'm going to be scared for my life. I'm going to think the cops are going to come get me, take me, throw me on the ground, beat my ass. I'm going to go to jail for the rest of my life for killing somebody. No, I leave the shooting to James Bond. And this James Bond shoots. You go, Daniel Craig. You go, man. You're the man. There were rumors that he was gay, and I was like, ah, shit. And I listen. I love gay people, the best people in the world. I party with them all the time, every week. I love them. But when I found out he was gay, I was like, what? And guess what? He wasn't gay. It was some stupid person that wrote something. I wasn't upset by it. Who cares? But I was like, damn. Because, he always gets the girl, the good looking girl. He's not gay. I think he has 2 kids, something like that. He's not gay. He's James Bond, and he's a thriller of a James Bond. Absolute thriller. He said he hates the movies. Daniel Craig doesn't like being James Bond, and that sucks. He feels like it's a type character. What the hell? I literally put James Bond doesn't like Daniel Craig. I was putting the keywords, and it said, while there's no concrete evidence that James Bond himself likes Daniel Craig, many fans of the franchise have expressed criticism towards Craig's portrayal of the character, often citing a darker, more brooding interpretation that deviated from the classic Bond archetype, which could be interpreted as a dislike for Craig's version of Bond. No, this is so stupid. Thanks for the synthesis of nothing. Daniel Craig hates being like, there you go. No. I saw him say it. He doesn't like it. It's not that he doesn't like it. He just doesn't. No, he doesn't like it. And he doesn't hate it. Now I think they're walking back. He was saying that he hated, at least what I read, he felt like he was almost like typecast. Like he had to fit this mold, this archetype, and he didn't like that. He liked being more creative. That's why he liked doing other movies. Who cares? What you gonna do? You're not Daniel Craig. And that's a really good picture of him now that I see it again. So now they're going to make a bunch of Amazon. Of course, Amazon. They're so smart. They always do everything. Oh, yeah. Amazon spent $8.5 billion. Again, what does that number mean? Anything? To buy MGM Studios in 2022. The deal was seen as a high-priced bet. I remember when they did this. It was interesting. Most acquisitions do not pan out. That's like most people say, oh yeah, if we get this company, it's going to multiply our revenue by 3-fold. And it's just a stupid estimate that people put out there. Most acquisitions out there are extremely unfruitful, and there's no synergies between companies, but people like saying that because every project that you say, you have to justify. So people, I see them all day, right, in IT. And people will always say, yeah, we're going to save $2 million if we install this piece of software. If we install Salesforce, I'm like, yeah, whatever. We're going to realize these cost savings. That's how you justify it. But again, if you look at you want to quantify things. You're going to save man hours. You can save on headcount. Those headcount never go away. And honestly, I wouldn't want those headcounts to go away because I care about people. I care about their livelihoods. I wouldn't want people to lose jobs because of technology. That sucks and that's stupid. But that's what they say. That's how they justify implementing software. I don't think people are going anywhere in this world. We'll always adapt. I couldn't see a world where we're not all working. We would all figure it out because that's the way the world works. And the government will always keep it working. If they don't, then they don't make money. They have a high level of interest in making sure that we're always working. So artificial intelligence or not, we'll always be working in our lives. And acquisitions are actually, usually that's because companies just want to make other big companies. What's up, bro?
What up, bro?
Did you know that Amazon
What's up?
bought did you know that Amazon bought MGM Grand in 2022 and now they just won the rights to start making James Bond films?
Oh yeah,
Wild. Who was your favorite
just
James
said.
Bond?
My brother. He was my favorite until I seen him in that fucking movie. I ain't even watched the whole movie.
Who, Daniel Craig?
That Brokeback Mountain nigga.
He's not in Brokeback Mountain, bro. That was Heath Ledger. Stupid.
Oh, the nigga from 13th Warrior, right?
What the fuck? What are you talking about? There's Heath Ledger.
Not 13th Warrior from the King Arthur.
Here's Daniel Craig. King
He from
Arthur.
King Arthur.
I mean, I'll look up.
But he was one of the James Bond niggas too. 007. Then the nigga became a faggot.
No, he didn't. Oh yeah, Daniel Craig was in Arthur, a kid in King Arthur's court. How do you know this movie? What the fuck are you? That's 1995 adventure comedy, a kid in King Arthur's court. What the hell?
No, he's not King Arthur. It's fucking.
He was in that movie, Daniel Craig, and he's not gay.
It's not a comedy. It's more action and shit. I'm telling you, one of the fucking.
This movie got a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh no, it ain't him. You're right. It ain't him.
Yo,
you're right.
Anyway.
You're right. My bad. The other nigga was in Brokeback Mountain and King Arthur.
I ain't got time for your nonsense, okay?
That nigga. I was like, yo, my nigga, that shit is raw dog. That fucking movie, nigga. I don't even remember where I went to somebody's house or something, and they were watching that shit. My nigga, I got the fuck up and got the fuck out of here, my nigga. That's how it was. I had them turn it on. It was either or. Yo, look at these planes crossing right here. Oh, I seen a drone flying by the other day.
Really?
Yeah, mad low too.
I mean, to me, we gotta get used to shit being in our skies. They're there anyway. There's always stuff flying high enough that you can't see it. They already got satellites all over. You know, they say that it's hard to see stars. Like, it's hard to decipher a star versus like a Starlink satellite because they lost some. Yeah.
Over here by my house, we used to be able to see the Big Dipper and Little Dipper, North Star.
But that's also New York, so like.
But I don't think the North Star is in the same place as it would be if you were in fucking Egypt or Palestine when they found Jesus. You know what I mean?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about. Stars and Starlink satellites.
No, it won't be in the same place. Because you on one side of the other earth, bro. How? Unless it's not round.
Space is so amazing. We don't even look at space, bro. You know why? Because it's so fucking cold outside that you can't look at space. That's beautiful. Look at space. That is beautiful. What do you do with that? You know what you do with that? You go outside. You go outside and you look up in space. That's all you have to do. Freeze my ass off. Back to the news. Elon Musk is targeting NASA's space station. Wall Street is buzzing about a Mar-a-Lago Accord, and the world of James Bond is shaken but not stirred. Elon Musk called for an early end to NASA's International Space Station program, reiterating his ultimate plan: let's go to Mars. Imagine we go to Mars. It'll happen.
Well, nigga, let me ask you something. Would you go out in space?
Yeah, it's scary. It's as scary as anything, but I would
I ain't
go.
going no motherfucking space. You got me fucked up, but I ain't even letting you do it either, nigga. Is that real? You ain't leaving this earth, nigga.
If I had the chance to go, well, I mean, I don't know. What does God say about that? Why can't we leave space? Is that like
Nigga, he put us on earth. That's why. What kind of stupid question is that?
Yeah, I think the Bible does say something like leaving. But bro, there's nothing wrong with leaving the earth and exploration. I wouldn't do it because I don't think my body could take it. But I would definitely love to do it. What are you talking about? If they told me I could go to Mars and come back and it was super safe, like going to Africa or some shit, I'd be like, hell yeah. Fuck yeah. If I was in physical shape, bro, you can't just go to Mars. You got to be in tip top physical shape. You got to be able to do like an Iron Man competition. Okay? If you're trying to go to space.
Oh, I definitely can't do that shit.
You know what an Iron Man competition is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me remind you. 2.4 mile swim. 112 mile bike ride.
2.4 mile swim. How much bike ride?
2.4 mile swim.
You got me fucked up.
You're lucky if you ain't dead after that. 112 mile bike ride.
112 mile bike ride.
And then a 26.2 mile run, a marathon.
That's a fucking New York City marathon.
No, the New York City Marathon is 26.2 miles. That's just a marathon. It's 2.4 miles swimming, 112 miles biking.
No, I'm saying the last part.
Yeah, that's a marathon. Yeah.
New York.
Yeah, but that's a marathon is 26.2. The total distance is 140.6 miles. But that's not even, it's actually a little more than that because you got to walk around and you got to switch bikes.
Got you swimming and shit.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That shit crazy.
And here's the last thing. Participants must finish within a time limit of 17 hours. They say that it could take you, like, on average, it'll probably take you 2 hours to do the swim. 2 hours. If you're really good, you're doing it under an hour. But anyway, 2 hours to do the swim. It could take you anywhere from 4 to I don't know, 8 hours to do the bike ride. So let's call it like, I'll even put the whole 8 hours. So that's 8 plus the 8 plus the 2 hours of swimming, right? And then the running, you're gonna be mad tired, but you do eat. But you don't sit down and eat or whatever. But like, you're grabbing snacks and shit. Because I run all the marathons the races that I've done. I don't eat. You're supposed to carb up the day before, the morning of. There's a lot of different techniques, but I don't carb up. I just don't eat.
Well, I'll be able to take shits and all of that, bro.
Nah, you make it through a marathon. But anyway, when you run in that marathon at the end, if you run a marathon in 4 hours or less, that's really good, I think. If you're going to be exhausted, the top tier runners run it under 3 hours. You're not running under 3 hours after you just did all the biking and the swimming. But if you take 5 hours, 6 hours to finish the marathon, you have 14 hours. I think that's a very good time. I can't bike like that. Like, biking's hard for me. Like, I could bike. I love biking. I bike a lot, but I hate sitting on that seat. I'd rather run more. And anyway, I'm not a good swimmer. I wanted to try this shit. My one of the trainers at my gym in CrossFit, his brother does that shit every year in Hawaii. The first Ironman was held in Hawaii in 1978. The Ironman World Championship is held in Hawaii. I met someone at the Yonkers Marathon. He's from my area. He's from my hood. And he did a half Ironman, which is 70.3 miles, which is a 1.2 mile swim, like a 60-mile bike ride, and a half marathon, 13.1 miles. I'm like, yo, how do they even call that a half? I was like, the disrespect, like how can you call that a half? Like, because the thing is, the half marathon makes it sound like it's like lesser or something, you know? It's like, how can you say, like, how can you do 70 miles and call that a half something? That ain't a half shit, bro. That's its own fucking race. If you're gonna call a marathon at 26.2 miles, and you're gonna call a 70.3 a half marathon, that's like, oh, like you ever did an Ironman? It's like, yo, yeah, I did a half Ironman. It's like, you pussy. You see what I'm saying? You don't see it like that?
I ain't gonna hear nobody. I'm like, nigga, fuck you, nigga. Shit. Better than I thought I
I did. Anyway, I would love to do an Ironman and kill myself while I do it. Tech giants and free speech. The battle is playing out ahead of the weekend's federal elections in Germany, where Trump acolytes, including Musk, have promoted the far-right alternative for the Germany party. It's like, why are they even talking about Europe's elections? I mean, I guess they get asked the question and everything. But you see how they're influencing the whole world, man. They are influencing the whole world.
The Jews?
Nah, Trump, everyone in their own right, but the United States. I mean, man, we have such great power. It's amazing. Whatever we say, bro, he's making it seem like, look at everything that he said about policy. Who knows if we ever buy Greenland? Who knows if we ever make Canada one of our states? Who knows if we take back the Panama Canal? Who knows if we stop, we actually rebuild Gaza and make it a land, a resort, even if what he said, it doesn't matter.
You really think that's the right thing to do?
Isn't the first,
out there, land?
Arguably, I'm going to really simplify this right now. Isn't the first thing, hold on.
As kids.
Isn't the first thing that you have to do to make something come true is say it? Fundamentally, if I want to do something in my life, anything, I have to say it first, right?
Yeah. You gotta at least
I can't do it without saying it.
I got another one. Hold on.
Go ahead. Yeah. And one of the bigger news articles, the Zelensky, man, this thing is crazy with Trump. It's interesting because Zelensky, so now Zelensky and Trump, they're at odds with one another. Trump falsely calls Zelensky a dictator after Ukraine's leader accuses him of living in a disinformation space. So they're going at it. Not good. Not good at all. And some people are saying that,
listen up. If you've been injured in a recent car accident, what you do next can make or break how much money you get. Here's the biggest mistake.
The US envoy to Ukraine has praised President Zelensky as a courageous leader and said they had positive discussions in Kiev. The comments posted by Keith Kellogg on X within the last hour come after a turbulent week in US, Ukraine and Russia relations. I spoke to the White House reporter for Washington for Politico, Daniel Lippman, and he told me whether he thought that the US is taking Mr. Trump's criticism of Ukraine seriously or whether ultimately there will be a deal with Mr. Zelensky.
Well, this is what's interesting is that Zelensky was the first person who actually proposed the rare earth mineral deal to Trump, and so this is a way for him to continue to get military assistance. But of course, there's people in Ukraine who are saying, "Hey, this amounts to reparations, and we were not the aggressor." But Trump is a very transactional president, and so if he thinks he can get something out of Ukraine and it would compensate the U.S. for all of the money, the billions of dollars we spent on Ukraine, then they will take that. The ironic thing is that a lot of that rare earth is lithium, and Trump is against electric cars, and lithium is a very important element in electric cars. So it's a little bit of a dichotomy here in that sense.
What's the wider political and public reaction been to this very sharp change in position on both Moscow and the US's traditional allies here in Europe and to a degree in the UK? Is this something that you think has wider support in the Republican Party, which obviously many of those veteran political members have been through the Cold War?
Yeah, well, Cold War was a long time ago, and so people who are growing up in the Republican Party today, they don't have memories of that. And so we used to do lots of business with Russia. We didn't expect that to change. And so I think that there is a lot of war fatigue in America, given the 20 years we spent in Iraq and Afghanistan and the trillions of dollars and thousands of lives. And so there is a isolationist tendency in the Republican Party these days. What's ironic is that Mike Waltz, the national security advisor to Trump, and Marco Rubio used to be very pro-Ukraine a few years ago when the war first started, and now they're having to toe Trump's line to not get too ahead of their boss and not appear like they're criticizing Trump. And so Marco Rubio is now in the position of having to reassure the Europeans we're not going to abandon Europe. We haven't become allies with Russia, but they're still backbiting in the Republican Party with the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee.
So there are reports that Trump is essentially undermining Zelensky because, look, Trump just said he called him a dictator. I think we apparently gave Zelensky and Ukraine $350 billion. Did the U.S. give $350 billion in aid to Ukraine? So I believe these are the reports. I don't believe it. I mean, I don't know what to believe, but these are the reports that we gave $350 billion in aid to Ukraine. But Ukraine is now saying we don't know where the money is. Zelensky said he doesn't know where like $100 billion of it is. And you don't know where the money goes. How could you know? How could you know where the money goes? You can't know. But now he's antagonizing him. And now Ukraine is finally giving up, essentially. They're talking. The US and Russia are speaking in Saudi Arabia now. I don't know if the meetings are done yet with Marco Rubio, and they're trying to cut a deal for peace. Putin is certainly going to win. US will lift their sanctions. Europe might not lift their sanctions. Europe is looked at as very weak, as being very weak in the world, I believe. I don't think they're weak. The British monarchy has a ton of money. They still have a ton of money, more than we think. They ran the world, remember? The English ran the world. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of resources. I don't think Europe is poor. And they have enough people to do things. They're not as aggressive as a people as Russians and the US, but they have enough money to get stuff done. But the fact that the United States usurps Europe, doesn't bring Ukraine in for the talks, and goes straight to the Saudis, to Saudi Arabia, and in order to speak to the Russians, and then on top of that calls Zelensky a dictator, it's very interesting how he's playing this game and this deal. Because Trump is not stupid, that's for sure. He's definitely not stupid. Not even close to stupid. That you can't even put that word near him. But it's just interesting because I always looked at Ukraine as an ally. I love Ukraine. I mean, why wouldn't I? I had a violin instructor that was in Ukraine at the time, and I was taking lessons with him for five days a week during the war. And one day he stopped answering. He lived on the border in Donetsk, and who knows what happened. Why wouldn't you love Ukraine? But to antagonize him strategically what we're doing here from the American perspective in the world, like the order of things, he's making them the enemy. It's like he's saying that it's their fault. It was their fault this entire time. It's interesting. I don't like disagreeing with the president or anything, or I don't think it's anti-American if you do or anything, but I mean, what can you control anyway? There's wars all over the world. We're only talking about Ukraine because they're definitely in Europe. There's wars in Africa and all over the world. For anybody that says, oh, anybody that criticizes another and says, you don't love Ukraine, you love Ukraine, whatever they say. I mean, why care for Ukraine? Why not care about Sudan? You want to see what's happening in Sudan? Some crazy shit. When isn't something bad happening? 1 day ago, Sudan's national army is on the brink of retaking the capital. Sudan's paramilitaries announce plan for breakaway government. So right now you have like a whole bunch of militias, a whole bunch of gangs. I wrote something like, I read something. Oh man, I should start writing again. I love writing, actually. I should start writing. Writing's good. Writing by hand is way better, but writing. Man, Sudan. Right now there's rape, civil war, no president. I don't know what happened to the president. I think he got killed. He definitely got removed. Yeah, civil war. You don't care about Sudan? You want to see some more photos and images of Sudan? They won't even show you. They won't even show you on Google. You got to go to some crazy website or something. They're not going to show you on Google. I saw some pictures. I was like, fuck. Look at this shit. I mean, I don't even know if you see it through these pictures, but these people are like just living in pure poverty right now. You don't talk about them. There's atrocities all over the world at all times. And we're mean to each other. Some people are mean to each other. Why would you be mean to someone else? So stupid. I never understood that as a kid, and I don't understand that as an adult either. People being mean to each other. That doesn't make any sense. And for the people that fall victim to it, that's exactly what happened. You're a victim. You are the victim because you're turning your back on humanity by being mean to someone else. It's not that it's not nice. It's just stupid. Big meanies. There's a lot of mean people out there. They're mistaken. And you know what? You got to forgive them because sometimes you're mean yourself. And a lot of people are dying and just facing the biggest plight in Sudan right now. But no, you focus on what the media mentions, right? And it's not your fault. Of course you do.
Committee said that Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, was parodying Tucker Carlson talking points on Ukraine.
And next week, we're seeing President Macron of France and Prime Minister Keir Starmer of the UK coming to DC. Is there anything that they can offer that will temper Donald Trump's position? You know, what does the US need from Europe and the UK that they can usefully offer as leverage?
Well, I think what those European leaders are going to be telling Trump is, hey, we're increasing defense spending a lot. We'll continue to help Ukraine, that you don't want to cut a deal that invites Putin to start this war over in a few years after he rearms. And so they feel like it's very responsible for them to go to Washington to try to convince Trump face to face. But of course, Trump feels like he was elected on a mandate of stopping this war. And he doesn't think that spending another few years arming Ukraine is actually going to change the contours of the deal, that it's basically a stalemate and they should just kind of make a deal now to end the bloodshed.
And when Trump has been talking in recent times about putting out the fires, ending these wars, and then focusing on China, is that seen as being politically naive, or is that genuinely what he's trying to achieve here? And this sort of sense of real haste in trying to sort out a deal with Russia and Ukraine?
Yeah, he wants the positive headlines of being a peacemaker. He maybe wants to get the Nobel Peace Prize if he ends this war and it doesn't restart. But this is someone who has also praised President Xi as a strong leader. He is a big fan of.
They did meet. Now Trump is saying that Zelensky is a courageous leader. I feel so bad for the Ukrainians. They're just a puppet in this entire process. And it's unfair. It's unfair that a lot of people have to die. It just sucks to see it, man. It's not fair. And honestly, if someone were to attack New York, I don't know what I would do. It would be a funny question to ask other New Yorkers. Like, would we stay and defend our land? I'd be like, yo, fuck this shit. Fuck New York. I'm out. I'm out. First of all, if aliens came here, I'm leaving right away. I gotta go. What am I gonna do? Aliens came. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. I gotta leave, right? Probably. And I'm not a scaredy cat. Like, I don't really get scared of stuff. But like nothing really scares me. Like, I don't want to put it that way. Look, a lot of things scare me. The government scares me, ghosts sometimes. I get scared from stuff. All right. If you scare me, if I come out the wall and you scare me and go, rawr, I'm going to get scared. Definitely. Even if I'm sitting next to you and you go, rawr, I'm going to be like, yo, what the fuck? Why'd you do that? I don't like being scared. I think war is scary. And I don't think we should be killing each other. And look at what Fareed Zakari from CNN has to say.
This February at Renewal by Anderson.
You don't get free advertising. Stupid.
Tonight, the door in Washington that was once wide open to Ukraine now appears.
Trump hates her, by the way. Caitlin Collins. He hates her. He tells her in the room, he's like, you're a nasty woman. I'm not going to talk to you. You know how Trump does it. Trump is just, he's, if you want to, he's the model. He's the epitome. He is, listen, I'm not saying what he does is right, how he acts or anything, right? He is who he is, and that's that. However, and I'm not saying it's good or bad. I admire how effective he is. There's no way there's no way you can say that you may not admire it, but you have to certainly appreciate it, his effectiveness. And the way he shows her up in the press secretary, whatever that room is called. What is that room called? Press secretary office. Yeah, office of the press secretary. What's the name of the office? No. It's like holding a briefing and oh, come on. Come on. Name of room press secretary. What is the name of the room press secretary reporters? What is the name of that room? The briefing room, the press briefing room. That makes sense. Anyway, the way he handles Caitlin Collins, he rips her to shreds. He says, "You're not talking. I'm not taking your question."
Appears to be slamming shut. The president of the United States calling the democratically elected leader of an ally under attack a dictator. And Vladimir Putin, the actual dictator in this situation, is sitting back and probably enjoying every minute of it. The tension had been building here after Ukraine was excluded from high-level talks between the U.S. and Russia this week, followed by the president's suggestion that Ukraine started this war, which it didn't. But after hearing that combination of Kremlin talking points, President Zelensky flashed his anger.
Unfortunately, President Trump, I have great respect for him as a leader of a nation that we have great respect for. The American people who always support us, unfortunately, lives in this disinformation space.
As you might imagine, President Trump did not take kindly to hearing that. It's actually what spurred his tirade on Truth Social this morning, echoing in part Putin's own propaganda, and then later repeating it in front of the cameras.
Think of it, a modestly successful comedian. President Zelensky talked the United States of America into spending $350 billion to go into a war that basically couldn't be won. He refuses to have elections. It's low in the real Ukrainian polls. Somebody said, "Oh, no, his polls are good. Give me a break." The only thing he was really good at was playing Joe Biden like a fiddle. A dictator without elections. Zelensky better move faster. He's not going to have a country left. Got to move fast. I love Ukraine, but Zelensky has done a terrible job.
Now, I want to take a moment to go through what you just heard there one by one in order. Zelensky did not start this war, Putin did, and he was not a moderately successful comedian. He was, in fact, so successful on TV that it propelled him all the way to the presidency in Ukraine, which sounds familiar. Zelensky didn't talk the U.S. into anything. The United States and Europe rallied to protect a sovereign nation that was being invaded. He is right that there was supposed to be an election in Ukraine last year. It was called off because the country has been under martial law for 3 years now. And as the Ukrainian constitution calls for, no elections during that time, given it's quite difficult.
I mean, why would you have elections? I mean, again, this is the propaganda. And again, I don't like saying that Trump is a propagandist or anything like that, but you're picking and choosing your words, right? You're picking and choosing what to say. The fact that he's saying that we gave him 350 billion and now Ukraine is saying we can only account for 150 billion of that. The fact that they're making that point and publicizing it is swaying public opinion, right? Let's not forget that. That's the first thing that I'm thinking about when I watch these videos. The fact that he's calling him a dictator is undermining. He said that one word and it undermined Zelensky and Ukraine and the entire war effort. You almost start thinking that Russia is right in this war. And you might not care, right? And I think most of us don't care. I would say 99% of people don't care about the war in Ukraine and Russia. I mean, you could say you care, but what does that really mean? There are people that are still starving and dying and going through the pain of living in a war zone. You have nothing to do with that. So again, the foreign policy that Trump is implementing, it's interesting. And I feel like this is, you got to trust him, and hope he does right and does something good with it. I think they made a compelling point. It's essentially a stalemate. The way the media is writing the narrative, Russia's winning now. Russia's still making a ton of money. They sell their oil illegally with offshore tankers. They're fine. But I actually do believe that Russia is very poor. I got to go to Moscow in 2018 and I spoke to a few Russians there. Now, this is only just a few of them, but I also spoke to other people that were there at the World Cup, and they told me that outside of Moscow and St. Petersburg, it was actually very poor. It seems like Russia has a few oligarchs and a few really rich people, and then it seems like the rest of the nation is poor. I don't know that. That's everything I've ever read and everything I've known to be true. But it seems like Russia is really poor. But anyway, Trump doesn't like war. He does not like war. He's always been on record, even when he wasn't a politician, that he didn't like war. And he's a Democrat at heart. He's a, liberal. I'm not defending Trump right now. Anyway, the way he's handling this is, again, it's interesting. because he's making Zelensky out to be the bad guy. It's that simple. And they're even reporting that, of course, Putin has to be winning on all fronts here. He must feel almost vindicated. If this war ends, his people are going to love him even more. I don't know how much Russians actually like Putin. We'll never know that. It's whatever they write in the history books, right? I hate to be a cynicist or a cynic. I don't want to live a life where I'm always challenging the status quo or challenging what's in front of me. You do have to have some level of skepticism in life, but to go through life being so skeptical that you can't trust anyone or anything, first of all, is that a life worth living? And more so, how could you even sustain yourself? How could you really live a life like that, where you trusted no one? You almost would interact with no one. You could be as recluse as possible. You're still going to have to interact with people in the world. But I guess that's enough to do the damage. Yeah, this is interesting.
When Russian missiles are raining down on your cities. Now, on the polling front, it's obviously hard to gauge that during a war. The latest figures that we've seen put Zelensky at about 57% approval in Ukraine. That's a real drop from where he was when this war started, but it's far higher than the 4% that we have heard Trump repeating in recent days. But maybe most importantly, of everything you heard there, it's that Zelensky is not a dictator. He won a free and fair election, actually in a landslide. And the irony here is that he's fighting Putin, who maintains power through sham elections, has his opponents jailed, or they seem to mysteriously die. When I traveled to Ukraine 1 year ago, President Zelensky sat down with me and told me that when it comes to this war and Putin and his ruthlessness, he says Trump just doesn't get it.
I think he can't understand what's going on here. He can't solve it with Putin and with Russia, because we'll never be ready to give our territories just for the stopping of the war, give them 30% of our country. I think he doesn't really understand that Putin will not stop. Even in this case, Putin will never stop, and he wants to occupy us totally. That's why I think that Donald Trump doesn't know Putin. But I know that he met him, and I don't know the spirit and mood of their dialogue, if there are things, but he never fought with Putin. American army never fought with the army of Russia. Never.
Wow, I'm just going to pause it there.
So you have a better view than he does, a better understanding.
Better understanding.
That is a very powerful piece of history. I mean, what a quote, because he's challenging Trump. I mean, again, who's going to hear this? I feel like he's making the right point. I don't think Trump is stupid here. Absolutely not. Trump is not a stupid man, again, by any stretch of the imagination. But again, the way he's playing it, it's powerful. And it's going to hurt the Ukrainians for sure, that they're going to have to give up land in all likelihood. It's going to change the world order, the fact that the US is aligning with Russia. I'd like to think that the US is just doing what's in the best interest of the world, of world affairs. And I like that Trump is doing this. I know that Trump used to say, like, why are we in all of these wars? Again, he's not a war president. He doesn't like killing. He's actually very liberal when it comes to that. But the fact that he's stopping a war, I mean, he could be criticized for that. It's like, why would you just leave Russia? Russia and Ukraine are over there. There's a lot of people that say that, I'm sure. I don't want to spend any money on them. I don't even want to look that way. I don't even want it reported. But the US is going to step in. And even though Trump doesn't like war, I think he's doing the right thing. But now he's painting Ukraine out to be weak. And even though he just walked back the comments today, a day later, after he insulted Zelensky and called him a dictator, he said he's not a dictator 24 hours later. And it's interesting. But it shows you that Trump knows how to moderate the tone. And I think he flirts with it. And I think he tries to find the right amount of pressure to make deals happen. And it's very compelling. And It's actually really interesting, the fact that he knows how to wield his power. Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah, hold on, you hang up.
You think I waited on the phone for you for like 30 minutes?
I forgot to call you back just now. We were staying on the motherfucking line. It was my pop.
I mean, what am I going to stay on the line for? Trump has blasted EU regulators for targeting the firms, which include Apple, Google, Meta, and called the fines a form of taxation. Hell yeah, it's a form of taxation. They're suing everybody. They sued Microsoft. They made them disband. You can only get Microsoft and Microsoft Teams. Do you like seeing rats?
Rats?
Yeah, like my whole thing is like, if you see a rat a day, it keeps you on your toes. You know?
Wow, you see the rat today?
Yeah.
So, are you looking at one right now? Though?
No, but I like. I think
Shut
it's.
the fuck up, asshole.
I think it's good.
Shut up.
You got a dog?
Yeah.
Oh.
This nigga's stupid. You barking for a motherfucker.
A new corner of finance has become a factory for billionaires. Worth over $61 billion, the titans of private credit have joined the list of masters of the Wall Street universe. The fuck is that?
That's my nigga on point. Yeah. This is retarded, son.
Wow, the broccoli family is loosening its grip on 007. Amazon MGM Studios is gaining creative control over future James Bond movies. The broccoli family. I love broccoli, bro. I don't understand. Yo, I don't understand like the whole kids don't like broccoli thing. Didn't you like broccoli? You don't eat vegetables, do you? You eat a little. You like broccoli?
I eat broccoli.
I love broccoli. I roast my broccoli.
Broccoli and what do you call that shit?
I don't understand a dislike for broccoli is what I'm saying. Like kids don't like vegetables. I loved my vegetables. When my mom cooked, I
I
ate.
used to like my mom's vegetables.
Yeah, I feel like you mad picky, man. Every time we eat and shit, you like be looking at your food.
Man, when I go out, yeah, I gotta check my food. I went out to places I ate bad.
You would never eat in. Would you ever eat in India, like street food?
Hell nah. You don't see what the fuck they do.
Listen, anybody that's dirty like that, you don't. That's the ones that they show on Instagram and TikTok. But if you see somebody, if you saw that shit in New York, you'd be like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna eat that shit. If they're scratching their ass, they're scratching their head. Don't show me you're doing that, you know? You could do it behind. Do it. Don't let me see. I'm not gonna eat. I love eating street food. Bro, I love eating street food. Every place I've ever been, I always eat street food.
I know. Oh my God.
I love street food.
Because I went to some fucking store in Vegas when I was in Vegas, and I fucking ate some bad food.
Was it Indian?
Nah, it was a regular chicken sandwich. That's what I check everything.
A regular chicken sandwich? That's hilarious. Street food. Look at that. New York City cart. I love street food. I mean, listen, it's not, you know, there's good looking street food and then there's a dirty little hot dog, a dirty little meat stick. Everybody got those all over the world. You feel me? I'm talking about some fucking good ass street food. Like, what?
Curry goat. Me and curry goat right now.
You're eating curry goat right now?
Yep.
All right, hold on. Pause. Don't say anything while I'm playing the video because it's going to mess up. Who doesn't like a little food porn? Sorry, I didn't even show the audience the food porn. All right, enough of the food. Okay, this isn't a food show. It's the Shoy show, and it could be a food show. Sometimes it has to be. Amazon finally surpassed Walmart in sales. Wow. Wow, what a chart. That's an amazing chart.
Without having a store.
Is that how you interpret it? Without having a store, they
Without even
surpassed.
having a place for them niggas to go look at shops.
It took them, what, 10 years? No, way more than that. I mean, Amazon went public, what, like 2000, I forget what year. Probably have it here. But yeah, Walmart is the biggest retailer in the world. That's how it goes. Mega retailers Alibaba and Walmart reported earnings yesterday, with Alibaba jumping 8% after crushing expectations, and Walmart dipping 7% after reporting that it expects slower profit and sales growth. Fuck the stock market today. Stock market got crazy today. So did he stop the congestion pricing already?
I think so.
Oh, he did. Congestion pricing has become the newest political punching bag for Donald Trump, whose administrative rescinded federal approval for the New York City's nascent program. Yeah, but
God bless him.
I mean, it really does affect you because you got to drive to Manhattan every day, so it really does affect you.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, bro, I live in Queens. I don't give a shit about Manhattan, really. I mean, like, I hope everybody's good over there.
A couple
But
$100 every time, bro. Every week.
yeah, you work there. I work there too. I just refuse to go to the office. You know what I'm saying? Oh, did I tell you about my manager? So it wasn't my manager, but a senior manager. He ended up apologizing to me.
About what?
He didn't do anything wrong, but he just ended up like apologizing to me and saying, hey, I'm sorry how things worked out. Because like pretty much like I got removed from a project. I was doing like some change management activities there, like helping facilitate the change for the software. And let's just say that there was some infighting in the group. You know, sometimes you gotta like be like, yo, guys, let's make a decision already, you know? Sometimes you have to get a little assertive, right? We've been spending weeks trying to make some decisions, and it's like, let's go. We have to move forward. And I think I got a little aggressive with the team, and a few senior managers had to speak to me. And one of them was like, listen, I think you got to lower your intensity a little. But you know me, I'm not going to yell at anybody or curse at anybody. I'm working corporate. But anyway, the way it panned out is they replaced me with 3 other people. And yeah, it's a big job, what I was asked to do. And which makes sense too. And they're putting some really good people there too. And yeah, I'm just gonna.
No, but they ain't taking you off.
Yeah, they are. In 30 days, I'm gonna get off of it.
Oh.
I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, one of the other senior managers called me and he was just like, "Hey, man," he's like, "I hope you know that everything's fine. You know, I hope you're not taking it too hard and stuff." I was like, "Man, I appreciate the call." I was like, "He's way up there. He's way up there." And I told him, I was like, "Dude, like, it's not lost on me that you're calling me. Like, I appreciate it." Because honestly, I was really like like disturbed by it like the whole week. It's been like 2 weeks like this angst because of it dates back like 2 weeks, like meetings and all this shit. And anyway, he ended up like apologizing today, and I was like, nah. I was like, thank you, I appreciate it. I put my tail between my legs like a little girl, like a little bitch. I was like, thanks a lot. I was like, thanks a lot, boss. Thanks for allowing me to still have a paycheck. Like a little birdie. Like a little birdie going back to the nest.
Thank you, Daddy.
Thank you, Daddy. That's how I was talking to my boss today. He's like, hey, Shoy, no hard feelings. I was like, thanks a lot. I'm just a little chick crying out. How do you cry like a little birdie? You gotta hear a fucking birdie right now.
Hey, birdie. It's okay, birdie. I'm gonna take care of you, birdie. Okay?
This is the greatest video I could ever pull up. And then this next video of this girl that's really hot. Of course, all the hot girls, they get all the views.
Someone told me long
I make
It's okay, birdie. I'm gonna take care of you, birdie. Okay?
bro. Hold on. Hold on. This birdie video needs to get its airtime. Okay? I'm gonna play this video one more time. Hold on. I'm sorry. Okay? I wasn't even listening and I cut you off. I'm sorry. What is it? What were you gonna say so we don't forget?
How these girls are getting damn near naked and naked online. All the kids are gonna say in the future.
Who gets naked?
Because it's all online now. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like before.
What?
When there was no online, like everybody in the world could see a nigga moms, nigga damn near naked.
What's that got to do with a birdie?
Nah, you were talking about girls online though.
Ah, shit. Hush up.
Yeah.
Hey, birdie. It's okay, birdie. I'm gonna take care of you, birdie. Okay?
That is, I can't believe I just.
Because I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't know. My mama was a freak back in the day, you know what I mean?
She was a little birdie?
No, I mean, from what I heard, no. She's a good girl.
Hold on.
All the way until she got married.
Hold on. Please.
I know. Not much on their parents to bring them food.
You know, I used to be obsessed with birds. I used to love birds. I used to take a whole bunch of bird books out from the library. It was so fascinating to me. I mean, I loved all animals, and now I eat them. My mom bought me a pigeon yesterday. Fucking ate the shit out of it. It's fucking delicious, bro. Pigeon? You know they eat pigeon in Arab countries. They eat pigeon all over the world, man. Pigeon roasted. And it tastes just like a hen. You know the Cornish hens? Oh, I had the best, bro. She filled it with rice and freak. You know rice and freak? You like that?
I don't know what the fuck you talking about, freak.
Freak, bro. You don't know what freak is?
Freak what?
Freak. It's like Egyptians make it.
Freak, Nick?
Nah, man. It's like a wheat germ. It's like a...
I don't know.
It's a thing that you put... You could eat it just like that without rice. It's like a rice. It's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, my mom stuffed a pigeon with that and then bought it to me. And it was delicious. What, bro? Tastes like just like chicken.
Mom's a good cook.
My mom's a great cook.
You got my mom.
Deep fried pigeon. You don't need to fry nothing, but that looks pretty cool and yummy.
My mama make the best beans and onions, I'll tell you right now.
Let's go back to the news, okay? This is the Shoy Show, and it's like we don't even deliver the news sometimes. I mean, we do. This is the news. This is what's happening right now.
said what? Fool and bustle.
Fool and bustle. It's not a food show. This isn't the food segment.
It's not a food show. It's not a food segment.
Listen, it could be.
This nigga ripped the fucking ball.
You know, Trump wrote after announcing the congestion pricing, he wrote something. You see how this look. This is the quote. I'm quoting the New York Times. Trump, in a social media post announcing the congestion pricing decision, wrote about himself, "Long live the king."
Yeah, he did the right thing.
No. Listen. But
King of New York.
they didn't read.
King of the world. We can stop this Grammy niggas.
No. But here's the thing. Now I'm gonna read to you the tweet, the actual tweet, or the actual post on Truth Social, because people look. He wrote, "Congestion pricing is dead. Manhattan and all of New York is saved. Long live the king." I mean, honestly, like, I don't even know if he wrote that. I don't know if somebody else wrote that. I don't know how Trump is literally sitting there tweeting. What person likes sitting there on social media all day? I don't think Trump really does that. I think he's watching it. I think he does too. You think he got time to be looking at a little screen all day? You know how much, you know how much work it is to produce content? You think he has time to fucking tweet all day? He's fucking a billionaire. People definitely tweeting for him. I mean, I don't know why you would say that. Long live the king. I mean,
maybe it's his son.
Maybe it is his son. You know, people are saying Vance is the next president in the near future, and then Barron Trump. And you know, it's very easy. There's a high likelihood that a family member of a president gets, you know, elected. Yeah, it's a lot easier, right, than me. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered officials to cut 8% from the defense budget over each of the next 5 years. I forgot how much they were going to save on this. I think they said it was going to be like $50 billion a year. Yeah. I mean, what's 8%? What's 50 billion? It's just numbers. We don't really care about it. The IRS will start laying off more than 6,000 employees today. That's when you party. People out here partying for their birthday and shit. It's like, oh, I'm going to call everybody. I'm going to invite everybody. I'm gonna make food. I'm going to make a drink. And everybody's going to be like, oh, happy birthday. Happy birthday.
When's your birthday?
November. And I'm going to celebrate. That it's my birthday. Nah, man. You know,
if I want to.
You don't celebrate when it's your birthday. You celebrate when the IRS.
If it happened to you.
You celebrate when the IRS starts laying off more than 6,000 employees. How about 60,000? That's when you celebrate. That's when you call everybody.
It's all fucking corrupt. Donald Trump is right, man. He's doing the right thing. He's gonna straighten shit out. Fuck kidding me? He's doing the right thing by America. His global decision making, I'm not.
Check this out. His foreign policy.
Allies. This like.
Check this out.
We gotta be America first, which I appreciate.
Oh, hush up. Check this out.
Don't give no money to nobody, and he's on the right track.
Boeing is years behind schedule on delivering 2 new Air Force One jets, which Trump ordered in his first term. Trump has asked Elon Musk to help speed things up. It's nice to have a tech guy around and somebody that knows how to get shit done.
What the fuck you doing, motherfucker? I'm gonna break your face. Get in there again. I'll knock you the fuck out, nigga. You're black.
I actually don't care for Mayor Eric Adams. I mean, whatever. I actually met him. He's cool. I mean, I believe he's corrupt. I believe all politicians are corrupt. But I just don't know how he's still mayor because, like, honestly, the allegations against him were so strong and they really dragged him through the gutter. Like, I don't know how he would win another election. I feel like his image is so hurt. I don't know how he could possibly like recover in New York.
You think he's running for president?
Eric Adams for president?
Yeah.
He could run. He could certainly run and drop out. I don't think he would win an election. All things considered, I don't think he would win an election. It'd be, yeah, not him. And I like Eric Adams. I think he's a good speaker and he's a cop. I mean, I don't hate the guy. Delta Airlines is offering $30,000 to each passenger on a flight that flipped upside down on landing in Toronto. You saw that, right?
How much?
30,000 each. You saw the video?
What's that?
Did you see the video?
Yeah.
I'm playing it. Hold on. Hold on.
I see you have this to you, actually.
Hold on.
Yeah, he was landing and flipped, right? It looked like ain't nobody survived.
Yeah.
That shit
Stupid
was
ass.
bad, too.
I should load it before I show you guys. Now you know about this stupid ad that didn't pay anybody. Yeah, that's wild. So they're getting $30,000 each on a flight that flipped upside down. That's wild. I mean, you got to give him something. What's the right number? Who the hell knows? I mean, I don't know. I don't even know that they had to give him something, but I think they're doing the right thing.
Again, what happened? What they say was the reason of the
Who
crash?
cares? It crashed. Who cares? No matter what reason it was.
You gotta care because
You got to give
that
some
will
type of
help
money.
You
Look
that
at
will
look
help
at the
with,
look at the
that will
picture.
help against it happening again. Because what if it's mechanical?
Of
What if
course,
it's pilot?
of course that
what I'm saying?
matters. Of course that matters. I'm saying, what dollar amount should they pay them? The fact that they gave them something, it would have been a publicity nightmare if they wouldn't have paid them.
Man, what do you think?
And they're probably avoiding
should
court. Maybe they made them
How
sign
you know
something.
people really ain't hurt, bro?
Of course they are, bro.
Life-changing injuries, regardless of what it is. Even if you got a scratch, a scar on you.
For sure. I'm sure they're covering medical bills. And plus your mental scar. What about that? You just have to live with the idea that you almost died. Yeah. $30,000 is nothing. Those people are all mentally scarred.
I gotta look like getting on the plane again after that. Nigga, I'm driving. I gotta go to fucking Asia. I'm driving through Alaska, bro. Straight up. Yeah, hello?
What?
Oh. Yeah, man, you go so quiet, I don't even know if somebody's still there.
I'm reading.
But word, nigga.
Apple has unveiled a lower priced iPhone with AI features. Previously, only the more expensive models had the features. Yeah, they're not really advertising it, but from what I heard. What is it? Okay, here we go. The $600 iPhone 16e is the cheap phone to beat. Apple launches 590. That's cheap? That's fucking crazy. Apple launches $599 iPhone 16e. Best features, specs, and everything else to know. It looks like all the other iPhones. Well, it definitely has one camera. It doesn't have 3 cameras, so it's definitely less.
It don't got a better camera, got a worse camera.
I mean, dude, there's no reason to upgrade your iPhone right now. My sister and my mom, I got them the 16, but there's no reason to get them to upgrade right now. There's no artificial intelligence in any of these tools. You can all download an app and you'll be able to and
You
you'll
for the 12?
I got a 13.
Huh?
I have a 13.
Oh, they got better same shit. We go.
Yeah, there's no reason to even upgrade right now. These new phones are they're just newer and shiny. They're not doing shit. The camera's not
My shit is
changing.
brand new though too.
What?
Cause I had a case on it since I bought it. But now I ain't got no case. It cracked on.
Apple isn't doing shit,
You
bro.
can't even see that.
I already told you about Apple. They're not doing shit. I don't even know why people invest in them anymore. I mean, I still know Apple
This
is
stock went down to about
no,
actually,
bro. They're at all-time
it's at
highs right
200
now. They're at all-time highs, bro.
No, they only had 200.
What are you talking? Yeah, but
that is
stock
all-time
splits
high,
and
but-
yeah, they're at all-time
No, then
highs.
they go up to 1,000 and come back down.
Yeah, they were at all-time highs. Yeah, the stock
Yeah,
split.
so they're at 200.
It's a stock split, bro. They
No, they
do
ain't
it.
split.
Yes, they did. You kidding me right now? You don't think Apple
they
and it
split?
multiple times?
Nah, bro, they ain't split, bro.
You joking with me right now?
Not after they went to $1,000.
Bro, are you really gonna even say this?
Down to 100.
June 16, 1987, 2-for-1 split. June 21. Apple stock has had 5 splits since the time it went public in 1980. June 16th, 1987, June 21, 2000, February 28, 2005, June 9, 2014, and August 28, 2020.
Oh, they just did a split.
That was a 4-for-1 stock split. The one in 2014, before that was a 7-to-1. All the other ones were 2-to-1. What are you talking about, bro? How could you even say that? That's I'm just gonna go back to the news. It's
I ain't know that before.
no, but how could you not guess?
I didn't know. I just knew when I watched it when I was fucking the shit. You know, the shit.
I'm messing with you. I shouldn't be so hard on you.
No, right. I should know about my shit. That's what I've been doing
I mean,
since
bro.
25 years
I mean,
old.
you're in the stock market, so it's
Why don't you know it?
no, but you would guess that a company like Apple would have definitely split, right?
Then the video was split.
Oh shit! I found pornography on my husband's computer. I'm furious. Duh. The fuck?
Why you mad for, man?
Why would you be upset about that?
Yeah, let that nigga because you love it. At least he was.
Here we go. Now I gotta read about this. Found porn on my husband's computer. There's a whole subreddit for that. I'm still in shock. I keep reliving that moment when I saw the first image on his screen. That horrible, sick feeling I got. I knew he had struggled with porn before we met. Struggled with porn. It's not a struggle. I mean, it's wrong. You shouldn't be, jerking and nipping away at yourself. I knew he had struggled with porn before we met, but he had led me to believe he had nipped it in the bud. Nipped it in the bud. I had suspicions due to his secrecy with his phone and clicking away when he was using his computer. Duh! What do you think he's doing? But when it came down to it, I really thought I was just being overly suspicious because our marriage is having a lot of other problems right now. I feel sick, mortified, betrayed, and miserable. He always told me that he loved me more than anything, and I was the most beautiful thing in the world to him. We have a lot of serious issues in our marriage, as my post history indicates, but this feels different somehow. This hits harder than everything else. I know I wasn't always the best wife, and I have fallen largely out of love with him in the past few months due to his lies and narcissistic traits. I did confront him. He was in tears and denied watching pornography. Why the fuck would you cry watching porn? I would look at my wife and I would tell her, I'm sorry. Okay? Porn is bad. Porn is wrong. You shouldn't watch porn. In my opinion, it's objective. Because why would you perpetuate slavery? But I'm not gonna fucking cry. Maybe I do cry about it, but I'm gonna just say, yeah, it's a vice and it's a problem that I have, and I gotta figure it the fuck out. What are you gonna sit there and cry? You gonna cry because you got caught watching porn? Listen, if you there's nothing wrong with crying. No, there isn't. I love crying. I wish I cried more. I wish you love crying, you little bitch. Listen, if you get caught watching pornography, you just feel embarrassed. If you get caught cheating, then you're gonna start crying. Then you're gonna be like, oh, please take me back, please.
Please, baby, please, baby.
And she's like, no, you cheated on me. You stuck your dick into something else. You bastard, you son of a bitch. What you gonna do?
Micro Logic Incorporated orgs went up 453% today.
Stop with your penny stocks. My pastor counseled me to get away from him for now and go to a safe place. So I am separated, at least temporarily. I'm going to get counseling from a pastor here. I'm just so mortified. Edit.
$50 went through their bodies.
You ready for this? Some of these porn girls were teenagers. I did call the police and he took a look and said since this was a legitimate legal porn site, the girls were 18 or up and therefore it was not child pornography. She called the cops on him? But they look so young to me, and I don't know if I can get past the thought of my almost 32-year-old husband seeking out videos of 18-year-old girls who look even younger. I have 6 younger sisters myself. Wow.
He probably be looking at them too, bitch.
Oh shit, the first post or the best post on Reddit. Hi, sex addict here. I am not familiar with your other posts, so I can only address this. First off, and I cannot stress this enough, this is not because of you. His porn use has nothing to do with your looks or performance. It is 100% his issue. He is using porn to make himself feel better, just like alcohol or drugs. It is also not your responsibility to fix him or appease his addictions. Who's not a sex addict? I mean, come on. Everybody loves sex. Like, you love sex like you love food. I'm not blaming anybody that has a sex addiction. That doesn't make any sense to me. An addiction is an addiction. And people say it's a chemical imbalance, whatever, but an addiction is an addiction. Found porn on my husband's computer. Someone's in trouble. All right, we're going to end the stream. Good night, y'all. Thanks for watching.
Love you.